What's going on, everybody? Lyndsey Fry here, and welcome to the very first episode of the NHL to Arizona podcast. I'm super excited to have you guys here. This pod is being run and powered by the Matt Schott Arizona Hockey Legacy Foundation, which, if you don't know, our mission is to keep hockey growing in Arizona. We want to conserve the growth of hockey that our namesake, Matt Schott, was so invested in. He worked for the Arizona Coyotes for a decade. He started so many of the youth programs that get kids into the game and adults as well. And that is really our mission. And part of that is trying to bring an NHL team back. So we have partnered with the advisory committee on bringing an NHL team back that's being led by Tom Galvin as well as Andrea Doan, wife, of course, of the famous Coyotes legend, Shane Doan. And we're really excited because our whole involvement in that is the community. It's you guys. It's making sure that we keep people excited about the idea of bringing an NHL team back here to Arizona. So the entire purpose of this podcast, the NHL to AZ podcast, is to do exactly that. We're going to tell different stories. We're going to have alumni who played for the Arizona Coyotes on. We're going to have community leaders. We're going to have fans. We're going to have all kinds of different people on the podcast talking about what hockey essentially means to them and why the NHL team was important to them previously. And more importantly, for the purposes of what we're trying to do, why is it so important to bring an NHL team back to the desert? So let's kick it right off. This is a solo episode just to get us going. I just wanted to make sure that I had an opportunity to, one, introduce myself, and two, really lay the groundwork for what it is that we're trying to do here with the podcast and everything else that's going on with NHL to Arizona, with the Schott Foundation, with the committee led by Tom and Andrea, and just kind of inform people. So to give everybody a little bit of background, if you don't know me, Lyndsey Fry, born and raised here in Arizona. I grew up in Chandler, played in the local hockey system until I was in high school, left at that point in time to go find an option that would help support my career on the girls' side, and was fortunate enough to be able to go on and play D1 college hockey at Harvard and then play on the Olympic team in 2014. After graduating from school, came back home, and pretty much immediately got involved with the Arizona Coyotes. I wanted to make sure that I was able to give back in some way, shape, or form to the community that gave me so much. Had no idea the depth that I would get connected and where my career would go. I thought, I would maybe do some girls' clinics here and there. I never thought that it would lead me to where I am now. I spent 7 years with the Arizona Coyotes prior to their departure. During that time, started up the Arizona Kachinas Girls Hockey Association, which is still our only girls hockey association here in the Valley at this point in time. And have also been able to contract with the NHL. I sit on the board for USA Hockey, and I am the president of the Matt Schott Arizona Hockey Legacy Foundation, which, by the way, we know it's a mouthful. We wanted to make sure we got all the pieces in there. Obviously, Matt Schott was a hero. He's a legend. You'll see his name in every single rink in Arizona up on a banner. He's the only person in Arizona that has that in all of the rinks because of everything that he did for the local community. So we needed to make sure his name got in there. And then when we think about Arizona hockey, it's all about leaving a legacy. It's about continuing the legacy that the Coyotes had left. And so that's why it's a little mouthy, but we will shorten that on this podcast to just the Schott Foundation. Keep it simple. But I am the co-founder and the president of the Schott Foundation. And when we found out that Tom Galvin was interested in starting up a committee to bring the NHL back, we immediately knew we had to find a way to get involved. And thankfully, Craig Morgan, who many of you probably know, one of the writers for Hockey in the Valley, and was really close to writing stories for the Coyotes when they were here, he introduced us, and it was pretty much an immediate fit. The way that we talked about it with Tom is when we look at successful NHL franchises around the league, it really comes down to three things, three pillars. One, ownership. Two, arena. And then three, community. If you can get all three of those right and do all of those things really, really well, the rest tends to fall into place. And so we said to them, hey, let us be that community arm. We're already doing it. We're running Learn to Play. We're running street hockey clinics. We're engaged in the community. We know the youth hockey community here. And by the way, pretty much everybody that works for our foundation previously worked for the NHL club. So they know what they're doing. And it was a no-brainer to pull it all together. Tom and Andrea have been awesome. A couple weeks back, we had the press conference announcing all of this stuff. And this is now what it looks like. So I think one of the important things for fans to know, this is a marathon. So buckle up, because we are not necessarily going to be announcing that a team's coming back next year or the year after. We don't know how long it's going to take. But when community leaders were getting involved with Seattle, for example, or Vegas, they didn't know how long it was going to take. So I think the biggest thing that I want to share with fans, and I want to share with community members that are watching and listening to this, is we gotta be ready to stay with it and be consistent and continue to push everything forward. I think it's really important to Tom and to Andrea that there's no over-promising and over-delivering. Our job is to make sure that we continue to keep people motivated, continue to give people the hope that they deserve, because the work that's being done is real. It's motivated not only by political leaders, business leaders, but also the heart and soul of the Arizona Coyotes, which is the Doan family. And I talk to Andrea on a regular basis, and she's committed to this as anybody in the Valley. So stay with it, stick with it. And part of the purpose of this podcast is to help everybody with that. Just continue to remember why we love the game, why we loved having an NHL team here, why we all want one back. And I think if we do that and we stick with it and we stay committed, good things are going to happen. So I'll give you just a little flavor of what you're going to hear on this podcast. We're going to try to keep these episodes relatively short, but if we're having really good conversation with somebody, we'll keep it going. Why not? We want to keep you entertained, obviously, but we want to make sure that we're asking two key questions of all of our guests. One, what's your favorite memory, or, what did the Arizona Coyotes mean to you? That's kind of our retroactive question. And then there's the forward-looking question, which is, why do you think a team should come back? And I think that's a really, really important one, because everybody's got their own reasons for wanting to see a team come back here. And I think if we can all get behind all those various reasons and everybody holds tight to their motivating factors, we're going to be in a really good spot. So just to give a quick sampling of this, I'll give you guys my answers. And then we'll wrap this up, and you'll start hearing in the next episodes people that really, I think, are going to excite you. We've got a great lineup of people coming on here in the future. I got a bunch of different NHL alumni lined up, guys that have a strong passion for bringing the team back and absolutely love Arizona, loved playing here, and you guys are going to hear from them. So if I were a guest on the pod and I were being asked, why do you think it was so important that an NHL team was here? What did it mean to you when the Coyotes were here? And my answer to that is pretty straightforward. I honestly believe that if the Coyotes didn't come here in 1996, I was 4 years old at the time. If they didn't come here in 1996, I don't think the rink in Chandler, where I grew up playing, would have been built. I don't think that hockey would have grown as fast as it did and given me the opportunities it did when it did. And I don't think I'd be nearly the player that I ultimately was able to become. I don't think my college hockey career would have been an option. I don't think playing on the Olympic team would have been an option. The Coyotes were the catalyst. The NHL was the catalyst of all of those things happening that ultimately led me to not only my hockey career, but now my professional career in hockey, which I'm so thankful for. And that's one of the biggest things I tell parents when they're like, why should I put my kid in hockey? To me, it's super simple. Everything good I've ever had in my life, my core memories with my family, my friends, the best friends that I still have in my life, my career, in a roundabout way, my marriage and my family, my education, Like literally everything good I've ever had in my life has come from this sport. And I believe that all started with the NHL team when the Coyotes came here. So that's my answer for why I think, or it was so impactful to have a team here. And some of my best memories are around, getting to not only meet Shane Doan when I was a little girl, but then getting to work with him and being able to call him a friend later on in my career. I mean, that was incredible. And I'm so, so thankful for that because he's such a wonderful person, such a wonderful leader, and a wonderful mentor that I look up to and love that I get to be close with. Forward looking, why do I think a team needs to come back? I mean, it really comes back to my first answer. I want to make sure that not only just my own daughter, but anybody that wants to play this game is able to do so, is able to have a thriving hockey community, is able to look up to not just what happens on the ice with an NHL team. They have plenty of hockey to look up to now with ASU, with all of the different college teams, the Roadrunners if you're down in Tucson. But the infrastructure that an NHL team brings to be so present in a community, to be able to have the special moments like we did with Leighton Accardo, being able to come out and skate with the guys, those are the things that it's really hard to replicate outside of an NHL setting. So I want our community, our future, our sons, our daughters to be able to have that same experience that I did as a kid. The economic impact that an NHL team has, whether that's making donations in the community through their foundations, whether that is potentially building youth rinks, whether that's sponsoring teams that make it to nationals. I mean, these are real examples of things that we either did or tried to do under the Arizona Coyotes, and certainly things that other NHL teams do. That's the power of a professional sports team and a professional hockey team. So I think for me to be able to bring that back to our community, it's so much more than the guys making millions on the ice. That's a fraction of it. It's about bringing good guys who are going to be involved in the community like our players were. It's about bringing in good ownership that's going to be heavily invested in everything happening in Arizona. It's about making sure that wherever the arena is, wherever the team is, whoever the ownership group is, whoever the players are, everybody is invested in the community around them. And I think if we can get to that point, nobody's going to question or even think twice about whether or not it's a hockey team on the ice. They're going to go, that is an incredible professional sports organization that makes a difference in our schools, in our communities, with our children, with the business community, the political community, whatever it is. That's the magic of sports. And I think getting this right with a new wave of NHL hockey in the Valley is going to be so important. So that is why I fight so hard every single day. That's why I do all of the things that I do, whether it's in girls hockey, whether it's with the Shot Foundation, the NHL, USA Hockey. I'm so involved in all these different things, not because I need one more thing to do. Trust me, talk to my spouse, talk to my kid. I don't need more things to do, but I have to stay committed to this, and we all have to stay committed to this so that the next generation of people that are waiting to fall in love with something as deeply as everybody listening to this podcast has fallen in love with hockey, with the Coyotes, with NHL, that's what we're doing here. So stick with it, you guys. I don't know if we're going to have news about a team in a year, 3 years, 5 years. Doesn't matter. Okay, the passion does not slow down. We do not slow down. We continue to push forward, and we continue to drive the message home that the NHL absolutely belongs in Arizona, and we as a community are going to do everything that it takes to get there. So if you're not already, please make sure on social media you follow at NHL to Arizona, Instagram, X, Facebook, all of it. We're going to be putting out a lot of different content, whether it be this podcast, whether it be videos that you guys send in. We want it all. So let's keep the momentum rolling, and let's get the NHL back to Arizona. We'll talk soon, my friends. We'll have some awesome guests. Can't wait to have you along for this journey. Thanks so much for listening.